you have the D.
Shall I dictate it to you? It's DLXXII plus CD.
CD.
Yes, Hermione, that's correct. CD XXXVIII. Super long.
Put a number over.
Okay. All right.
So you begin with your two highest numbers, these two.
Okay.
So you go ahead and put down M for 1,000.
Okay.
But then you see the C right here.
Uh-huh. Which
and
means it's
like,
taken away
okay,
from the...
that's minus from that. So what's 100? Yeah, that's 100 taken away from that. So
Right.
how can I fill in that blank? So you say, ooh, if I take these two, this number, and combine them together, they make 10.
Mm-hmm.
Then add all these 10 together make 40, and plus these makes 50.
60.
Then you only have 50 because you need
100.
No,
It makes 60. Hello, because you had 3 plus 1 plus 2. That's 6.
Oh, that's 60. Okay. So that's 60. And then you have, oh wait, this will come up. Let me check my notes again.
Well, if you just add one less of them in, you'll have 50. And that to your other 50.
And then you add the L.
Right. So that gives you your 100.
That makes your 110 though.
But don't forget, you've got a 10 left over, yeah.
Yeah. And then shouldn't you have to add that then?
You should.
Now all you have left is this.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to add
Yeah, which is not quite correct, is it? Huh, now how on earth did that happen? Because your logic was good.
Hey, how many X's are supposed to be over here?
3.
Right?
Yeah,
okay.
the 3 is correct.
Okay. How did I come up with that one?
Yeah, that's weird. Did anyone else?
Oh, it's only supposed to be 1 X right here.
Where?
Here.
Okay, that solves the problem. So that X down below.
That one. You don't have this one anymore.
Right, so take it out of the answer. So the answer is just M, which is 1,000.
Yeah,
which is correct. Okay, good. Now, Josie, was that super confusing?
Kind of, but I get it now.
Okay, yeah, I think your basic understanding is there. It's just sometimes it gets really confusing to keep it all straight. Did anyone else have a different method of solving it? True, and how did you solve it? You're muted there, dear.
Okay, so the way I solved it was I used the board, the basic way you're supposed to use it. That's the way I solved it.
Would you care to show us that? You could screen share it?
Okay, sure. Okay. Okay, so the first thing I did was
I like the way you're doing it so neatly like that. So that's an M, and next to it is a C.
Yeah. Okay, it's kind of at the end. Okay.
But we get the idea.
The first thing I did was I added 1D, so I put in D, which is 1 dot there.
Okay. Oh, you've got.
And
Can you
then-
make them a different color than yellow so they show a little more?
Okay.
Trun, I think you forgot to add the line on top shows 5s.
Thank you.
Oh yeah. What do you mean?
Like,
Well, he didn't end up needing them, so maybe
No.
that's okay for now.
Yeah. And
But
then
good point.
yeah, and then I put in 1L, which is in between C and X. So that's
Okay,
that.
good. So you're sort of crossing them out from your numbers as you go. So we've got the D and the L,
And then the X, which is 1,
X,
and then 2 I's.
and 2S. Very good. So that's your first number you're adding. And
Okay.
you're adding to it.
Yeah, and then I'm adding to it, so 400, which is 4 dots.
Right, because you don't have to worry about not having 4 in this method. So that CD, which is 100 minus 500, is just 400. You can put in 4 dots under the
Yes.
C, which looks funny there.
And then there's 30, which is 3 X's. So.
Perfect. Yeah, this method is a little more neat, isn't it?
And then there's 1V, which goes in between X and I.
Very
So
good.
1V. And then there's 3 I's.
Right.
So first thing I did was I added these two together, that and
Right.
that, and that makes 5.
Okay.
And then I put in the V, and then, oh, it's just another V, so there's 2 V's now.
Right. So those ones, the ones in the one column are now no longer existing. Can you erase them or?
Yeah.
Okay. It takes a bit of work there. Good. Okay, now you've got 2 V's, and what does that make?
2 V's makes an X, so I'll add this X there.
And now
And
erase
I'll
your 2 V's so we don't forget
these-
about that. Have to keep everything really organized in this system. Okay, now you've got 5 X's, which makes
150, so
Right.
I add another 50.
so then you erase your
Take away
X's.
all those X's.
Right, thank you for keeping that straight.
And then I have 2 50s, which
Right.
equals 100. So I take away this, and then if I add this to this.
Just
it'd be
add it.
500.
I can't stand watching that thing. You had 5 of them.
So I don't take that, and I just take this
So you've got 2
of those
500s, which equals
1,000.
1
So I take
M.
away those,
And then you'd write in
and
your dot. And that's
there's
your whole answer. Good. That's more elegant. Okay, thank you, Truan. Thank you for that. All right, you can stop sharing.
Haydn's method is old-fashioned.
Okay.
who? What?
Well,
I'm-
the way that Haydn did it was a little more time consuming, I guess would be the way to say it. A book by the man named Fibonacci, who was a very well-known mathematician around the time of our story, around the time of Marco Polo and Matteo. And he was quite a big thinking mathematician, and he studied in Asia, in India, and in Arabia, and he learned many things which he then brought to Europe in his Liber Abaci, which means Liber is book, Abaci, similar to the word abacus, is to do with calculation, so book of calculating. And he was the one who brought the Arabic numeral system to the Europeans. It had been developed among the Arabs. It's actually technically known as the Hindu Arabic system. Hindi referring to India and Arabia, the Middle East and India. And so that the number systems developed there were those that we use to this day, which were radically different. Haydn, sorry. And Snorlax.
I have a question. So this has something to do with the number system, but
Yes, go ahead.
right. So I heard in public schools now they're teaching the children something like a different number system, how to add up numbers.
I need a little more information before I could say anything intelligent about that.
I just don't know anything really about
Maybe
it.
you can find out some more and tell us. I mean, there are all sorts of number systems.
Well, my dad was saying that it's actually not. It's harder than the one we're using now because it's just to expand the children's mind.
Okay, well, very good. Yeah, and I think actually the Roman system that we learned, just to learn any different system, also helps expand our mind, to put it that way, because it shows us that there are different ways of thinking about things and different ways of solving problems. And which is why we had you go through the work with the Roman numbers. Spencer, are you with us? I just see the top of your head there. And now we're going to turn our attention to the Arabic system with which we are much more familiar. Those are our number systems that we use every day. And the big difference, can anyone guess what the biggest difference between the Arabic system and the Roman system is? I mean, you've worked with the Arabic system all your lives. Hayden?
I think maybe the biggest difference is not quite the number. I'm supposing you can't count the numbers because any kind of counting system would be different in that way. But would be the how you count it all up. How do you get the answers?
Mm-hmm. Would you care to say any more on that? You're right.
Like with you just have you go through each number and you multiply it by another number. And I don't even remember how you.
Well, for example, try adding up the same problem that we just did with the Roman numbers using Arabic numbers or Hindu Arabic numbers, which is the ones
it's way easier because all you need to stack up and you just bring it down.
You stack them up, did you say?
Yeah, you
stack them up. What do you stack them up according to?
Oh, I see the difference. You stack them on top of each other.
How? What goes on top of what?
I think I'll let Ronald Weasley do that.
I think I'll ask Hermione Granger to go forward. Who's raising her hand longer? Yes?
Sorry, but
your comments are welcome. All of your comments are welcome. Let's just get them in order.
Probably the numbers are a lot shorter and they're easier to add because of this. So like you don't have to add like that many like letters, let's say, and plus they're not letters. They're actually numbers.
Well,
and
to the Romans, these other things were numbers.
I know, but they're still letters.
But they're shorter.
So
that's a very excellent
shorter.
Point.
So it's easier to add them because there aren't so many like little marks to write one word, like one number.
Correct.
So,
and why might that be? Why are they shorter?
Because, well, he created a little symbol for each number, or two, or how many, but they're just simplified in a way. I don't know.
All right. Well, we're getting somewhere with it. Ron Weasley, you have a comment?
So one of the biggest differences is the places.
The places?
Yes, because like you have the ones place, the tens place. Can I screen share?
Yes, go ahead and share.
So when you're doing the Arab way, there's always the ones place, the tens place. Let's just grab this.
What?
So you always have the one. You guys are seeing that. Does this look right?
It looks backwards because the ones would be at the other end, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Okay. Pen. Okay.
Because if, for example, the number 562, the 2 refers to two ones. Yeah, now you're on the right track, etc. You're probably going to run out of space.
I'm gone. So
Can you put the number 562 in there?
So for 562, you have a digit.
Good term.
5.
Correct.
And then in the 10th place, you have a 6, and you have a 2.
Right.
The thing is, the 1 to 10, you always have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. You always have this. And depending on what order you put them in, you can make any number, because these digits, 1 could be 1 in the 10th place is much different than 1 in the 1's place.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, look at your 10. Your 10 is actually 2 digits when you use the word digit that way, or symbol. It's actually the 1 plus, and this is an amazing invention. The Romans did not have anything for 0. They just didn't. Well, does 0 belong after 9? Where does 0 belong here?
The other end.
1, 2, 3.
Technically,
4,
though,
5, 6, 7,
0
8,
does.
9, 0.
Because 0 would be the beginning place before you have anything, which is an amazingly sophisticated concept. Well, what we're going to do here is an exercise I'm going to screen share with you, and it's going to be a series of images of trees of various shapes. I think they're all evergreen type trees in this case. Yes, I'm going to screen share it in just a moment, but first I'll set the exercise up. What I'm going to ask you to do is to look at them and imagine you are in a forest, even though these are just plain on a white background. Imagine if you were seeing this particular tree in front of you in a forest and you wanted to describe it to someone else, but you can only use the words tall, wide, or neither.
Wait, let me write them down. So
Tall, wide, or neither. Neither, however you choose to pronounce it. You can only say it's tall, or else it's wide, or else it's neither. You can't say kind of tall, but sort of wide. You can't say, well, neither, but a little bit of this. You can only use one of those words. Alrighty? So that's just part A of this exercise. So yeah, and the trees are lettered A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. So there's 12 of them. We'll go through, but please, actually you don't need to take notes. I will take notes on that, and then we'll have a further step.
So are we doing this in breakout rooms?
Nope, we're going to do it all together for starters. So let me just get that share up here for you. Here we go. Oh wait, sorry, no, I need a different one. I need this guy. Okay, here we go, in Photoshop, my favorite program. Alrighty, so.
Is that really your favorite program, Marguerite?
Yeah, it is. Love Photoshop.
How dare you?
What? So, okay, so let's go through these in order. Oh, the letters aren't on them. Okay, fine, I will put letters on them. Just a sec. A.
You must not like Photoshop as much as you say.
No, I really do. Okay, A. Why is that so small?
I can hardly see it.
I know, hold on, we're trying to get there. A.
I still can't see it.
I know, I'm working on it. Just hold on. Okay, there's A. All right. Then we've got B, C, and D. I don't know if we even need these letters. Let's just go through them and see what happens. So looking at number A, would you call that tall, wide, or neither?
Tall.
Tall.
Let me hear from everybody. We're a small enough group that we can all say.
Tall.
Does anybody think something other than tall? So we're agreed on tall. Why do we think it is either neither or wide?
Yeah.
Why? The answer is why. Now I'm asking you to use some more words. Why do you think, for those of you who said neither, why do you think it's neither?
Because it's tall and wide.
Because
It's
Hold on a sec. Well, one person at a time, please. Kalista, you started to speak.
I said it's because it's tall and wide, sort of at the same time, but so it's kind of neither because you can't say both.
It's tall and wide at the same time, is your suggestion. And any other comments? Hayden, you had something to say?
Basically what Lisa said.
You're in agreement with what
Can I explain a point of view I had?
Please, by all means.
So, if you look at all the trees, this is don't worry, this relates to, you can see kind of where they are roughly grouped in terms of the proportions. Not talking about who's taller, who's wider, but you can see that B has similar proportions to E and F and G. H is out of those proportions, so that's wide. And then K has similar proportions to B, F, E.
When you say proportions, what do you mean?
Tall to wide. So it's, for just instance, it's 2 times the height that it is wide.
Which one is?
Ratio. No, that's
Hypothetically.
An example.
If it were 2 times.
Hypothetically, it's a ratio. Oh shoot. So B is the similar ratio to F. K.
B and F, you're seeing something similar, yeah.
Yes. E and K are similar to B and F. And so is L. So a lot of them are similar. So I call those neither, because whatever you have the most of is kind of the neither. And now the proportions of A is it's like 3 times as tall as it is wide. So that's out of the normal proportion. So that's tall. And then the same with I. It's like 5 times. So that's even more out of proportions. And then H is like 1.5 times as tall as it is wide. So that's kind of short and stubby out of the proportions.
Interesting
coverage. That was kind of
that's your thinking.
How I looked at it.
Any other people care to say anything else about it?
Wow.
Josie, what do you think? Why do you think we see A as tall?
Because it is tall. I don't know.
That's a tough one, isn't it? Try to put words on it, because it is.
Yeah.
Could I try and...
Truan, please go ahead.
Okay. So, I think the reason we think it is tall is because it's bare and at the bottom there's nothing, and when you look up, it's just taller than most trees that you'd see. Like, compared to G, it is tall, but compared to like I, it's like medium, or no, actually to K it's medium.
Well, here's an idea. Hold on a sec. What if I did this?
What?
No, I knew you were gonna mess with things like that. That's why I did Photoshop.
So what happens when you do that?
Well, I didn't change its width compared to its height or anything like that. I just made it a little bigger.
Yeah.
So now does that change how we think? We still say neither or wide, I'm guessing?
Still
'Cause
neither.
it didn't turn it
Neither.
tall suddenly just because it's, right? It didn't turn it tall.
It could potentially be wide if you just.
Well, that
extend
was, somebody said wide for that one, and some people said said neither, and some people said wide. So
I was one of the neither people.
So, Truan, sorry, you were saying, please continue, because I think you had something interesting going on there. It's hard to try to put it into words, but it's helpful for us to really
It also just
develop
depends on
our
your
thinking
perspective.
skills.
It depends on your perspective and what is beside it. You can see
So,
this. The A is next to C and B.
well,
which are
let's
both
look at it
small.
just in its own right. Here, hold on, I'll sort that out too. Hang on here, we got this going on. Now they're all more or less the same height.
Harder.
What? I'll call C tall now.
Just a second.
Fibonacci trees. What? How does the ratio of like 1, 3, 5, and so
Don't-
on have to do?
Yeah, it's not, I said Fibonacci had many aspects to his mathematics. So we're on to something else here.
I guess so.
Yeah, you've
I
heard the
have-
name clearly, but yeah, he as I said also was the one who brought place value to the Europeans. He's known for some particular things, but in this case, he's very widely accomplished in his mathematical thinking.
Mercury, can
Yeah?
you press the 3D?
I beg your pardon. Say it again.
Can you please press the 3D button up by
Les, why would I do that?
because I want to see what it looks like. I wonder.
I've never pressed that 3D button. Nah, I don't think so.
I have.
Well, I want to see what happens when you try 3D.
That's what happens.
Okay, fine. That's not the plan. I mean, Photoshop, you could spend your whole life doing photo. Close tab group. Okay, so Photoshop is an amazingly robust program. But for our purposes here, now, did someone decide they wanted to change their idea on C? Is it, we said tall or neither.
It's tall, I think. Could
Yeah,
I
it's tall.
explaining?
Yeah, go ahead, Kai, give it a
tall.
shot.
What's the tall? Tall.
Hayden. Anyways, I agree with Spencer. It's all about ratios.
Well, let's
I think-
define our terms because maybe we haven't used that term before. So let's be clear what we mean by that.
A ratio would be the ratio in this case is the relationship of the height of the tree to the width of the tree.
So you're thinking that the skinny one, for example, is way taller than it is wide, and that makes us think it's tall.
Anything that's much taller than it is wide is I think I would
call it-
classify as tall.
Uh-huh.
Because there's no way to classify it as skinny, and you certainly can't classify it as neither or.
Right,
or,
we only had the three options. So for example,
wide.
J we'd say probably is wide
That's-
by that.
That's the best wide tree that there is. It's like almost it's almost a cube or
Yeah.
or a circle. Now
It's kind of like an egg.
I
that
would
got the
say
bottom.
that let's see, everything in E, F, and G are all sort of neither. They're all about twice as wide as they are tall. But H.
If
H
they're
is
twice as
definitely-
wide as they are tall,
yeah.
Why?
I mean, twice as tall as they are wide. Oh my
well,
god.
why don't we call them tall then?
Well, no. You see, in my eyes, that doesn't qualify. As,
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying why. Because if it's twice as tall as it is wide, how come we're not saying it feels tall?
Because I'm just saying that I don't think that looks tall.
Yeah, I hear you.
Does anybody else disagree with that?
Interesting. All righty.
I think, Kai, you need to add the word relative, because if
That's
you
a good.
those to an ant, they'd be very tall.
Well,
Like,
yeah.
Well,
Other
we're
Yes.
talking about us.
Yeah, let's limit it to humans for the time being. I take your point, Spencer. That's a good one. But yeah, let's keep it in the human realm for simplicity's
Yeah.
sake.
So, Spencer was pretty much right. Just except I wouldn't take his approach of trying to average things, although that's cool. Just go by I would say a rule
So you're
of
going
thumb.
more intuitively, it seems.
I
Like.
would say a rule of thumb is that anything that has the ratio of twice the weight being twice the width.
You mean?
So would that be like a 2-to-1 ratio?
It would if we were discussing ratios, which
But I
I'd
guess we're
prefer
not.
not to yet.
Okay, so
We will get into that later
what
on.
the relationship, let's say, of height to width is
Right? Good.
twice the width.
If there's twice as much height as there is width, then you think it feels kind of neither, but sort of or balanced maybe.
That's pretty much neither. A tall
Interesting.
tree is more like 3 times the width, or at least 3 times the width in my
Yeah, because it could be way taller. We just don't have any that are super. Well, this one might. Number I.
And a wide tree should be about. Let's see. It should be about no more than like the height should be no more than one and a half times its width.
And you're just sort of eyeballing that, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
And then you just apply those things to the trees, and then you have your answers, and I think they'd line up.
Interesting. All right. Thank you. Anyone else? Josie, what have you made of all this so far?
I definitely agree with Spencer.
In what regard?
All that stuff.
What are you agreeing to?
Like tall, or like I forgot, how did he say it? Like they're wide, or like.
Yeah, you're on the right track. I just want you to have a chance to really work with it, because if we don't have to say it ourselves, we don't learn it as well. So go ahead.
But like, how did he say it? I can't remember.
Well, just go with your own feeling of it, because now you've been exposed to the idea. So let's look at number A. So are we seeing more height than width? Or more width than height?
Yeah, we're seeing more height than width.
Yeah, so do we think of this as wide? This one is wide as a result of that, since there's more height than width? Or do we see it as neither, or do we see it as tall?
I think we see it as tall.
How do you see it?
Tall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, your perceptions, you're welcome to. So I'm not going to tell you you're wrong, because it's your perception. So you see it as tall, and it has more height than it has width. How about number B, Josie?
Mm-hmm.
Do you see this one as tall, or neither, or wide? Just your impression. Neither. Okay, that's interesting. And I think that's one most people thought was neither. And but is it taller than it is wide, or is it the same amount of width as it is height?
I think it's taller than its
I think
width.
so too, similarly to what Kai was describing, but somehow it doesn't give the impression of being super wide.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Even though it's taller, we can see that it's taller than it is wide. We call it neither. Is that interesting?
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a trick question. Yes, that is amazingly interesting, I think. Okay. Well, Anyone else care to make their thoughts known on the matter? Let's see, Hayden and Kalista, I don't think we heard from either of you.
I don't know. I just look at the proportion and then like figure it out. I don't really have anything to say about it, really.
What do you mean you figure it out?
Like, I don't really. Okay, the thing about the whole small thing was a joke, just so you know. I wasn't actually saying small. I knew that.
I knew that. I knew it was.
Okay, just saying.
I didn't think you were mixed up in that
No,
regard.
it wasn't. But I just said I don't look at how big or small the image is. I just figure out if it's like tall or wide or if it's both.
So if I understand you correctly, you mean you don't measure it?
No, I don't.
But you just get an
look at the
impression?
overall tree.
I see. Okay, good. So that's a perfectly valid approach, sort of more holistic, if you will. You just get an impression of the whole thing and you make a decision as to whether it's tall or wide or neither one. Okay. And Hayden, how about you? How did you approach these?
Basically, like Kalista said, I just look at it, and if I think, oh, maybe that one is a little bit tall, maybe on the tall side, then I call it tall.
Mm-hmm.
Or if this one's all on the wide side, I'm like, okay, wide, not really. It doesn't I suppose it could be a little bit illogical, it's just basically my impression of it. So.
Mm-hmm. Well,
it's the
sorry, go ahead.
energy of the picture.
Say it again.
It's
sorry.
like what the energy of the picture.
Uh-huh.
The energy of the picture gives me,
Interesting.
what the picture feels sort of like.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
It's hard to explain.
Yeah, no, but that's good. That's very interesting.
So with H, I could feel like you could even see the energy sort of with the picture. It's kind of bulky and sticking out-ish, and so I called it wide because that's what it feels like too.
Sticking out-ish, I like that. I once met a little girl on the beach and she was playing with my dog and asked her where her mother was and she said, she's the one over there with the sticky outy hair. She had sticking out-ish hair. Sorry, you had more to say?
Nope.
Okay. Did I hear from everybody? I think so. We're a pretty small group. Did anyone want to make further comment on this after all that? All right, what we're going to do at this point is to take our break. Please return in 10 minutes or fewer, and we shall continue our investigation.
See ya!